This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel. This is Eric.
And this is Sydney.
And this is Hallmark Mysteries.
And more.
Hello, Sydney. How are you doing?
Hello, Eric. I'm good. You know why?
Because you're able to make it. You're not
Well,
like in the bathroom throwing up and stuff.
There's that. And also, it's the beginnings of spooky season.
I know.
Spooky season.
And this is actually a perfect movie for kind of, I think it should have been the last movie because it's the most Halloween-y-ish, I would say.
It is very,
I said
I like
weenie-ish.
That's okay.
But no, I'm like counting down because I can't start putting my Halloween decorations up until October 1st. Self-imposed. Some of our neighbors have started doing it, but
Do you have any of those 12-foot skeletons?
hell yes.
Oh my
And I tried going for
gosh.
2 to balance out the yard, and my wife said no. She's like, we're not
I
going to be
feel
one of
her.
those homes that have like all the inflatables. So I bought a skeleton instead. So on the front patio on our little whatever, we have a bench, I guess, not a chair, a bench. I'm going to have a skeleton sitting there.
That's very festive of you. So, as we're entering spooky season, I'm just wondering, do you have a favorite like folklore tale that you or book you used to read growing up?
No, not really.
No?
I guess Halloween. Well, I can't say for the last few years has been all that popular with me, but it was always like my favorite holiday of the year. Like when everyone's like, oh, I love, Thanksgiving, or I love Christmas, or I love whatever. Mine has always been Halloween. I think Halloween's the best.
I do enjoy it. I like when I was a kid, there was this book that we decorated and we had like a Halloween village in the on the fireplace and everything. But
Halloween
there's a
Village
book.
sounds like a Alison Sweeney movie.
Yeah. It was so cute. But there was this book that I loved that they'd bring out every year when they get down the tubs, and it was called In a Dark, Dark Room. And it was like a collection of these silly, spooky stories. And one of them I was like obsessed with. It was called something like The Girl with the Green Ribbon. And I won't give it away, but I highly recommend looking up the story about the girl with the green ribbon from In a Dark, Dark Room.
Now, were these like actually scary, or were they kind of like fun with a hint, like Hallmark
Yeah.
scary or Lifetime scary,
Oh,
whatever?
not Lifetime. More like a little ridiculous and
Okay.
head scratching.
So you weren't having nightmares or anything after him.
No, but I
Okay.
think that I did have an unhealthy obsession with the girl with the green ribbon.
Well, I can understand why. Green ribbons are nice. No,
Well,
no, my big thing is just the season of blueberries. I buy boxes and boxes and boxes of
blueberries.
them. And it's funny is so I always like, now they are just pretty uh regularly available. But for a while there, like through the 90s, you kind of had to search them out. And when I left LA and I came back to Phoenix, I wasn't finding any. And my friend who still lived out in LA, his grocery store had them. So he actually packed up and sent me a box of like 12 things of blueberry to get me through
The
the
blueberry
season.
season.
Yeah. It's blueberry season. Like everyone has their pumpkin spice latte. For me, it's blueberries.
Okay, so do you know what a ghost's favorite dessert is?
Um, Blueberries.
It's ice cream and
Ah,
blueberry pie.
all right. I can go with that.
I feel like you set up for that. So
I did. I had the blueberry, obviously, but ice cream. Okay. I may or may not be using that coming up soon.
please do. Please do.
So
Oh my gosh. So you and I watched a new mystery.
We did, and it was in the lovely scale of G major. I don't know if that scale is that what it. I'm not a music guy, so but
I think that's scale.
yeah,
So yeah, it was Haunted Harmony Mysteries, Murder in G Major.
I
Ooh.
know the first of four as we previewed last week, but very exciting, very
Yes.
exciting. But you know what? Feeling a little thirsty.
Oh, okay. Well, I might have a little movie cocktail for you, and it is called The Screaming Banshee.
Ooh,
Wow. Okay, so with this one, you're gonna do it's basically a Guinness float. So you're gonna do a cup of vanilla ice cream, 2 cups of Guinness, a couple tablespoons of chocolate syrup, a little whipped cream, and if you're extra spooky, like I'm sure all of my spooky queens and kings are, you're gonna put a little green sprinkles and a ghost peep marshmallow
can you
on the
find?
side.
Do they have peeps out right now?
Oh my gosh,
Those
yes,
ones?
you have ghost
My
marshmallow
my
peeps
store doesn't have them.
and like jack-o'-lantern marshmallow peeps.
Huh. I'm not to look.
I,
Those are really healthy. Those are like almost count, I think, as your fruits and vegetables. I'm gonna have to find
oh
some
my
peeps.
god. I don't know about that. But I think that oh, and if you're pregnant like me, just don't use Guinness, use root beer or Coke. However, when I went to the Guinness factory in Dublin, they told me that Guinness was okay for pregnant ladies. Now, I don't know about that. Probably wouldn't try it. But
Well, from what I recall back in the day, you could have like a drink. It was just having the drinks that were the
yeah,
problem. And so
probably. And considering Mrs. Guinness had 22 kids, I think it was, or yeah, 22 pregnancies.
well, that's because she was
So
just drunk all the time. She didn't know what the hell was going on.
she had a lot of screaming
Wait,
banshees.
22, like back in the day, how would you even be like live long enough to have 22? Like you would literally be nonstop
I I don't
pregnant.
know. I just remember when I was there and they said that I thought, Lord help that woman.
Well, actually, I guess we haven't really talked about it. As we all know, you're having your first child. Is your goal to have 22?
No.
Oh,
Let's remove one of the twos there. It's probably two.
okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Do you want
Well,
to
I know
tell
you're
us about?
I know you're getting your new home, so maybe you're getting the, you know, the 22 room home there
I
for
cannot.
the gaggle of babies. So, okay.
Well,
Are we ready to talk haunted harmony mysteries, murder in G major?
yes, tell me about it, Eric.
How's
Tell
your
me what the
pitch? Can you sing a G?
absolutely not. Can't
Yeah.
sing a E or F either.
Okay. So, in Haunted Harmony Mysteries, Murder in G Major, we have former orchestra conductor Get Senemy Brown, which I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but of course that's the whole theme of the movie of pronouncing it wrong the whole time. I was hard
Love it.
gets moves to Ireland to teach at a boarding school. After deciphering a musical message, she meets a renowned composer's ghost, dun, 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 who
Spooky.
is rumored to be behind the death of his lover. Now, this
Interesting.
stars uh, Tamara Mowry-housley,
Mm,
and it also has, of course, very good Irish names. Ristard, is that how you pronounce it? Ristard Cooper.
sure. Mm-hmm.
He's the ghost. And then we have the detective who's Inspector O'Reilly as Adam Fergus. And Marco Grazzini is another teacher who's Griff, who's at the school. He's the calculator. He's the hot math teacher. So
Yeah.
Did you
take
have a
that
hot math
math
teacher?
class. No, I had a bunch of older women who were rude.
Yeah, I have to ask my friend's a math teacher at a boarding school. I'll have to ask him if he's the hot math teacher. Of course,
Yow.
he'll say yes, but his
Well,
wife will
that's
say yes too.
cool.
So this was written by Arthur Vandelay, which I think is this is only this is only a Hallmark movie. I think it's his only like movie that he's written. So
What a name,
yeah,
Vandelay.
like when you go to the IMDb, don't see anything else. So we have all that. But so all right, shall we get into it?
I think so.
What did you like? Did you like?
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. I liked a lot about this movie. Right off the bat, the setting was amazing. It's like whether they were on a bridge or walking by the sea or in a little village or a cottage or a tavern, I was enjoying it.
It definitely was not like the coast of British Columbia either. They were definitely in Ireland.
I gotta think because the way the villages were set up and everything, and the fact that you could legitimately tell those people who were acting and the other characters were Irish.
Yep.
So, and I enjoyed the opening, like how they set up both main characters, like establishing, okay, she's the new person in town and he's a ghost. It was kind of clever, like, car driving through it and then that sort of thing. And I enjoyed the Wuthering Heights reference. They did that in a couple spots. Even though it's the wrong country, that was in England, and Irish people are not crazy about British people, but that's
UK's
Hallmark for you.
we're over here on this side of the ocean. UK's UK.
Yeah.
We can throw
Uh,
Australia as the same thing for all we care.
oh my God. If you ever tell a New Zealand person that you mistake them for an Australian person or vice versa, they are not forgiving.
I'll remember that.
So,
I'm writing it down in my notes. Don't call any Kiwis Aussies.
yeah.
I changed my
Oh my
Siri, by the
God.
way, to an Australian Siri. So she's got like a little Australian voice.
It's nice voice.
I tried doing Irish. No, I take it back. I take it back. I did that and my wife ixnayed it because when we were in Boston and we are getting the directions in Australia, she's like, hell no. So now actually I do have Irish, come to think of it. So yes, I have a
Well,
little Irish thing. Wow. I should have watched the whole movie with Siri.
you should have.
She would have felt at home.
Yeah. And of course, I enjoyed the two adorable suitors, Detective O'Reilly and Griff. And then also I enjoyed when Eamon and Getz played the piano together, um, you know, making their song.
Like, was that when that was at the school when all the kids came in?
So that was nice, but I actually got kind of like emotional when they were like in the cottage
In the
starting
cottage.
it.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, what about you, Eric? Where are you at?
I liked a lot of it. So we talked before and we by the preview we're expecting some humor, but it
Hmm.
wasn't as like I thought it was going to be a little more slapsticky, maybe silly,
Yeah,
and it really wasn't. It was clever humor. It wasn't, quite to the extent of Cases of Mystery Lane, but
right.
it was a fun movie. It wasn't a silly movie, and I really liked that it didn't go over into being like slapstick or shtick or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because when you have a ghost, you could
Yes.
very easily you could turn it into something that would be like eye rolls, and no, not at all.
Yeah.
I thought the casting was really, really good. I will say I think this is the best role that she's had. Um, I've always
Yeah.
found her to be, sort of one of the ones neither here nor there for me, but I really liked her and I thought she absolutely shined in this movie. And of course, Ristard Eamon, he was just absolutely fantastic as the ghost. Just a great, fun character.
Hmm.
I also liked how it wasn't our traditional find the dead body type mystery. So it was something that was fresh.
Yeah.
I think Jane Mystery could, because it was, they had that 20-year-old one, but I think they could, maybe take some notes on how to do, maybe craft a better mystery cold case type thing, because, that one, which just seemed kind of like weird how it was so old and everything. Whereas this one, I thought they just did a really, really good job and
Yeah.
had a lot of fun with it. So, and then of course, I think we are kind of both agree, like Ireland, obviously, right?
Ireland.
You can't,
Yeah.
you can't really say anything without really saying Ireland in this movie. Though I did have one question. Like I said,
Hmm.
the whole time, and you're talking about Mrs. Guinness and her 22, kids. The whole movie, they just kept showing everyone, going to the pubs, drinking their beer. It's kind of like Ted Lasso. You
Hmm.
just want to grab a damn pint and drink.
Yeah.
So I was just wanting Guinness the whole movie.
Wow.
But the one thing I did have was there was the line in there about like gander. Not many people are using that word. What? Like I use gander all the time. Do you?
I do
And
occasionally too, but I
I
always
guess
thought
maybe that should be
maybe.
what I don't like, but whatever. I just, yeah, it's like when she did that line, I was like, where is that coming from? Because I thought they had like really good banter between the two of them. It was like very cute um, relationship they had. Oh,
Yeah.
and the last thing, and actually even in different ink for me, different color, is I
Mhm.
loved the ending when she solved the case. He got to
Yeah.
cross over and he came back and talked to her and said, so I talked to your dad. Like,
Oh,
he's a great guy. He's like proud of you. He's doing wonderful and all of that stuff. Like that was a great ending. They opened it
yeah.
up obviously so you could have more, but I loved that part of it where, it was that little touch of sentimentality that got me.
Yeah. I have it later on, but I was gonna say like I actually cried at the end. I think it's the hormones, but I cried.
No, no, it was a very touching ending. So hormones or no hormones, it was good. You know what's crazy is it took me 4 attempts to get through this whole movie.
Really?
And it wasn't because it was bad. I just kept trying to watch it. Like my bedtime is relatively early, which is ironic considering we're recording this past my bedtime normally. But I would
Same.
start watching it at like 8:30 and I would just be out. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't do it. And then when I went to do my rewatch last night, I did the same thing. And I like, I don't know why I started watching it at a little after 8. And of course, I fell asleep. And so I had to finish watching it this morning before work. Thank God I wake up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, all right. Lots we like.
Yes.
Anything maybe wasn't so hot for you?
Okay. So I had one like pet peeve. And I have to tell you, I liked pretty much everything about this movie, but this one thing drove me insane. Like, ah, she would talk to Eamon like he was a person. And they even touched on it a bit like, I look crazy because I'm talking to a ghost. And, yet she kept on doing it. Like, she kept on looking crazy,
Like out in
like
public.
talking to him. Yes.
Yeah.
After a while, I literally yelled at the TV. I was like, stop it. She's going into the bar to meet like the guys and see
Right.
the old Irish band, and she's looking at him and talking to him, and it's like people wouldn't see that. You
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I had the same thought, but as also then I thought, so how would they like maybe they can he's a ghost, so maybe they can telepathically talk. I don't know.
Well, they
But
can't because there was the scene when the guy looks at her weird when he's walking by outside of the doctor's office because he
uh
sees her not talking to anyone. And he's like, what's going on? So, like, it's obvious, but then she keeps on doing it. And I just want to be like, stop it. Stop.
yeah, I get you.
What about you?
I don't think you're gonna like me.
Oh.
Griff. The the the, the hot
What?
the hot thing. I found him actually kind of the creepy calculus teacher. He just
Yeah.
like the love triangle. I didn't love it. I liked the detective. I thought he was a, kind
Yeah.
of a sweet guy. I found Griff just a little bit creepy. Like I don't know, I found him more leery the way he looked at her. And why they're over here in Ireland,
Hmm.
why the hell do they have like all these North American teachers? Like,
I
shouldn't
know.
they've
That's
had an
something my
Irish
husband said too.
like, do they not know calculus in Ireland or something?
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out why they cast him. And like when he ran out and uh like when the one guy who had broke into to her house, like he ran out there when he was like getting in Gethsemane's face.
Hmm.
I found it like just a silly scene, and I don't know. And so I didn't like the love triangle, and I didn't like especially Griff in that.
Well,
So and
that's
then
okay.
I know it's Hallmark, and I know we aren't supposed to overthink things, but can you explain one thing to me? How
Maybe.
did the detective know to be rushing into her cottage? Did I like, was that part of the moments when I was sleeping? Like, did she signal him at the very end? Like,
She called the police.
oh, she did?
Yeah, on her cell phone. Remember, she tells the doctor, she's like, I called the police. And
But
she
that was,
goes,
they were in
You're
the
a sick
grave,
woman.
but they were in the grave over, like, they weren't at her house. So how would he know to run over to her
Wait, which one are you
house?
talking about? Are
At
you
the
talking about the
very,
end?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there at the very end, she's in the cottage and she says, like she has her phone and then she puts her phone away and she says, like, I called the
Uh,
cops.
okay. So that must have been one of my little dozy moments because I
I'm
was
thinking
like,
so.
I'm like, how did he know to be bursting in the home? So that bothered me. I feel better. Okay. I crossed that off my list, and all I have on my didn't like was the love triangle because Griff is creepy, which
Okay.
is funny
Well,
because he's like really good in other movies. So he's not like a creepy, it's not like he's one of these guys who's just like creepy looking. I just didn't like Griff.
well, that's okay. You probably just like Detective O'Reilly a lot more.
Griff was a myth.
He's a grifter.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So what'd you think of this as a mystery?
I thought it was great. There were lots of twists and turns, the cop cover-ups, the fan club troubles, the small town robberies. It took you in a lot of directions. So I enjoyed how Getz and Eamon would problem solve together, utilizing the sheet music stand as their clue board. That was really
I like
cute.
that. I really like that too.
Yeah. And I really liked the whole Orla and Eamon love story angle. That was really interesting. And I'd also say, like to what you said earlier, the acting was really good. All of the people played their parts really well, which most of the time there's someone that I just can't stand.
Griff.
I know. But I mean, he played his part well, whether it was creepy or not.
Okay.
But yeah, I really liked the mystery. For me, it was pretty intriguing.
Did you figure out who it was ahead of time?
I did not because the belt thing and then the cop and the like right away I thought it was a cop,
Yeah, yeah,
but it wasn't. And then like ooh, when there was that little flicker of possibility that it was Griff. Remember she like looked at his
yeah,
bag and he was like, it's those are just shoes. Like I thought, ooh, they're doing something like I said I would like in a mystery where it's the guy that you're interested in is really you know, the no good
yeah.
guy. But what about you?
I did figure it out. Wasn't, but it was one of the ones where it didn't bother me that I did. But I don't want to give away who it was. But there was like the interaction where the killer sort of let on that that maybe there is a reason why. And
Mm,
I picked that up, and sure enough, it ended up being the case. Um, I thought it was, like I said before, I thought it was just fresh and fun. So I really liked the mystery in that aspect. I did like you said, I thought it was really fun and cute how I wish they would have done like a murder board on their music, like built that in, but I liked how she's using a little, baton, conductor baton, and
Hmm.
like you said, the stands and stuff like that. But I did think and I guess it is to, move this along, but she did make some really big assumptions and things to help solve it. Like I'm like, how the hell do you think that? Which all turned out to
Hmm.
be right. But once again, Hallmark Mystery is a fun, cute one. It wasn't, you know, uh Francesca Quinn, deep, dark, brooding one. So have fun with it. So it didn't really bother me. So all in all, I thought it was a really fun mystery. And like you said, great acting, which we'll
Yeah.
get into. Our body count wasn't one.
No, it was two.
Yes.
And I guess, did we ever hear if Deidre pulled through? Because,
Well, I think so because he went to the hospital to visit her and
oh, okay.
everything. The the cop.
Hmm.
So yeah, they going back to your point, they did have a lot of really good side story. Like
Hmm.
that little town was full of shenanigans. So
Shenanigans.
yeah, so
Malarkey.
totally. And by the way, as we're talking about the mystery too, like the ending of how the murders happened, that was really actually fascinating.
Yeah.
So once again, don't want to ruin it, but how Ola died to then how Eamon subsequently died, I thought that was really cool because I did not like the how I did not suspect.
Yeah.
The
I
who
couldn't
I did.
figure that out in the beginning. I kept thinking, why would it have been like that? And
Right. And I thought
yeah.
that like I thought it was the thing. Okay. Now is where we get to the part where you really like talking about some style.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? This movie had a lot of it. Okay. That cottage, first off, was adorable. Adorable.
Is
And
that what you're going to be emulating with your house there in southern inland southern California?
I wish I could, but you know how new builds are. They just kind of make it like a certain
Just
look.
show them that say, can you do this in the stucco?
Oh, yeah. Just do that, Eric. But the cottage was adorable. I loved the yellow bike. I felt like she was
Yes,
really
the
getting
bike
around
was
in
awesome.
her boots and her basket, and the ghost was riding on the back.
Going back to your point too, I was thinking about that, like you're talking about the talking. I'm like, could she have sat down because he's a ghost, or did she have to be riding standing up the whole time?
I,
I,
you know
and if
what?
she sat down, it would just be kind of a weird ghost thing there. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
It,
an intimate bike ride, we'll just say.
it was very much like the movie Ghost. It was
So,
like, except no pottery and no
right.
relationships. Yeah. And I loved Gethsemane's outfits.
Yeah.
Okay. They were peak fall fashion inspo. She had an adorable 70s looking coat that was green with white stitching, and her pink coat was phenomenal. But I really enjoyed the mixing of the patterns that the wardrobe stylist did. It was perfection.
I will say this is the year of the trench coat because all the sleuthers women all have had phenomenal trench coats this
They heard
year.
my call. Get
So
those coats on.
yes, so I will say I agree with you that it was there. And then just and I guess this was more the guys, even though I guess some of the local Irish women had, but you had all that Irish tweed, you had the sweaters, you had
Yeah.
the scarves, they really I don't even know if they had to dress up or if those actors just like wore their own clothes to there because that's pretty much I would guess what they would normally be wearing in some little quaint Irish town like that. So, but I
Yeah.
nailed it. It was really well done because um, they being Hallmark, they don't have all the money in the world and going abroad to film the whole thing. You could have said, oh, well, maybe they'll skimp on wardrobe or skimp on something there, and they didn't. It was fantastic.
I gotta say, I feel like they actually do better with wardrobe when they're over in those UK destinations because the Presence of Love wardrobe was really phenomenal too. So I don't know. I think that they must have some really nice stylists over there.
Gemma Keenan was the stylist.
Now, Gemma, that sounds British.
Well, Gemma does have Cocaine Bear to her credits,
Oh, that must be Canadian.
and the Professor and the Madmen. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well, good
she
for Gemma.
yes, Gemma is oh, so yeah, Cocaine Bear kind of rolls with murder and G. Okay.
That's quite a difference.
So before we go on, I'm going to drop a little trivia, and this will be in our Tuesday trivia next week. They're
Okay.
playing the four notes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what those notes were?
Wasn't it dead?
Yep. DEAD. So that's going to be our Tuesday trivia. So people who listen to the podcast, you'll be able to get the Tuesday trivia. Here's a
Oh,
bonus for listening all the way through.
wow.
All right. So let's get into our rankings.
Okay.
Steam meter. We may be a little bit different here.
Okay.
Where do you at?
I'm at an 8, and that is
We
because
are a little bit
there
different here.
that is because there was real promise with both leads and mostly because of Orla and Eamon.
I just thought of that. Right when yes.
I mean, that ending
That
part and then just the way he talked about her
right.
and like you're like,
My
"Oh yeah."
muse. Hmm. You're you'll be my podcast muse, okay?
No.
Yes. Yes, I gave it a 2, but you know what? Yeah. Eamon
You
and
bumped
Ola.
that up.
That
It's
should be
Orla.
what I say.
You're calling
Oh,
her like Olaf or
Ola, not
something.
Ola. Ola. I call her Ola. Oh, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever. They are, yeah, I should make it higher, but I have a 2, so I'll stick with it because
Okay.
I'm going with the love triangle, but I really missed the big one because it's not going to, it wouldn't continue. So, okay. All right. The story.
Story, I put an 8 because I enjoyed the overall story.
100% agree. I had an 8 as well.
Awesome.
And the mystery.
I also gave that an 8 because I found it intriguing. It had me guessing, despite being a little silly in moments, but I was there for it.
I gave it a 6. I still liked it, but once again, I thought it is able to figure it out, and there's some leaps of faith. I thought the story was the thing that was really strong in this, kind of like in Cases of Mystery Lane too, where the story,
Mm-hmm.
I think he graded that story higher, but I thought the story was better than the mystery, which is actually a good thing. I think either have a really good mystery or a really good story, and the other one can tag along.
Yeah.
All right, how about your acting?
I gave the acting a 9.
We are aligned. We are aligned. We're aligned. I don't know. I was trying to make it sound right, but I couldn't.
We are aligned.
Yeah, we are nined. Um, we are nined. That's it. All right.
Oh, okay.
Both gave it a nines. And then how about style?
Style, I gave a 10.
Same here. I don't know
I
what
loved
I
it.
literally don't know what they could do to improve it.
Yeah, because even the guys look good.
I I agree. They they even our Griff. I can't knock him on his clothes. He
Even the
was
grifter.
he was you know what? Even the dudes who were the two ruffians who
Yeah.
there like the one guy who was the thug, he was dressed he's the best dressed thug, around.
And he had a great farmer's market tote too. Yeah.
Yep. So, okay, I total up to a 35.
I total up to a 43.
Well, I guess this puts us in that category of definitely a movie to watch and rewatch.
I would definitely rewatch it. It's definitely something I'd have on while I'm crafting or, you know.
And the funny thing is, when they first had the previews out, and I just read, like, the title and just the initial what it's about, I'm like, really? And I could not have been less excited for this one. And
I
now
know.
it has set the bar for the mystery season, and it's a high bar. It's a really
It
high bar.
it is. It is.
So if you were just doing a quick rank of the year, where would you put this?
Oh, I'm not really sure, but I think it would be up there for me. I mean, Cases of Mystery Lane's still number one.
Agree.
But I think this be a close second to whatever I thought was the second before. I can't remember, but
Well, we have the dancing detective, we have the Hannah Swenson, we have Curious Caterer,
I think
we
I had said
have
The Curious Cater was number two, but I honestly would say that this might take the place of it
what was the
for me.
one? Why am I going brain dead? What was right before?
Well, there's
Was it
Jane Mysteries.
Jane Mysteries? What was the one? Was that the one right before? Oh no, Aurora Tea Garden. Oh no, Aurora Tea Garden was really good too.
Or maybe, okay, so maybe that was number two for me.
That one
I
was fantastic.
Okay.
So,
Well,
uh,
anyways, it's up there with the top
yeah,
three.
I agree. It's definitely going to the next 3 weeks going to be tough to get into the top list, the top three for the year. So now, when we do our like recap, are we going to include Victor's? I guess we have to watch it to see really if it is an
A
actual
good mystery.
mystery,
Yeah.
or if it's just sort of like did so last was it last year, or was it the year before? 2 years ago, I think, Santa Stakeout,
I think that
right?
was last year.
No, it's 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, because Paul Campbell was in the three wise men and a baby, and
Okay.
Tamara was in the Prince, whatever, the Christmas Prince last
Oh,
year.
Christmas Prince.
So yeah, 2 years ago. Now, did you think the Santa Stakeout was a mystery? Would you consider
I
that a mystery?
I thought it was kind of, but I think it gets totally overshadowed by the holiday aspect of it. So I don't really. I
Okay.
have a hard time, especially when they start pushing these holiday movies right now. I'm like, please, can we just let some seasons happen here? I'm not ready for Countdown to Christmas. I'm just not ready yet.
I don't know. It's kicking off with Kim Matula, which she was the highlight of 2022 Christmas. Goes to Christmas
Yeah,
always.
she was, but I just need some time here. I
Yeah,
might just be
I agree.
DVRing that and then watching it
You
later.
you just want a nice, good home. You know what you need? You need a good witch. Good witch
I,
is like that's the only one I can think of really. That's Halloween, Halloween.
well, there was the one that oh gosh, Ashley Williams did, October Kiss, where she's the nanny and then he falls for her.
Was that on
And
Halloween?
well, it was one of their fall movies, but it was, yeah, like she dresses up in a Halloween costume,
Okay.
the kids do. It's like she decorates the house with skeletons and
Was that the
ghosts.
one where
It's
she came like just to sort of visit, and then was like, "Oh, I need something to do," so she went and became the
Yeah,
nanny?
I think so. It
I
was like
think
she's
okay.
visiting her sister or something. And
Yeah, that wasn't a bad movie.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's one of the only Halloween ones. Yeah.
And I will say, we definitely got our fall on with this movie.
Yes.
Hallmark just as a whole has, I think, done a pretty good job with the fall feels this year. So, and this mystery was certainly there. I don't think Mystery Island's going to have much fall feels to it.
Doesn't look like it.
No, but tell you what, man, after talking to our friend John, I'm excited. He's got me more intrigued. And then posting those little TikToks that they've been sharing there. They look like a fun crew.
Yeah.
And Frederick's right now is already my favorite dude. The dude with the eye patch. That's just
Well,
fantastic.
you already
I
like
think
that.
I'll wear an eye patch for our preview or our review. I guess not our preview, our review of it.
Okay.
So kind of like when we wore our berets. I do
Yeah,
my eye patch
that seems fair.
and speaking an English accent, which I can't do accents at all.
Though then maybe the eye patch is enough.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, everyone that you can, we would love for you to, if you're not already subscribing, we'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast so you get your notifications when it's coming along. So you hear us every Thursday or sometimes Friday, depending. Both Sydney and I have been crazy busy. So, like this one will be a Friday one, but usually we're on Thursdays. And then we have bonus when possible coming out on Tuesdays.
Exciting. And if you are looking for more of our mysterious content, give us a follow over on Instagram at Hallmark Mysteries and More.
Ooh,
And
very good.
Eric, what do people have to look forward to on the next podcast?
We are finally going to be watching and talking about Mystery Island. 6 months in the making.
Yes.
Yes. And now, thanks to our last one, knowing as he told us that Hallmark has actually bought his and Christopher Palaha's mystery. What is it? We need to know. We need to know. So now that the strike's over for him, at least he can do a little more talking. I feel bad that we I talked to him 2 days before the strike ended. So some of the things like we want to talk about, he couldn't. And I was like, if only the strike could have ended a little quicker.
If
But
only.
oh well. And now we just need the actor strike to end so we can get back in the swing of things and not miss any January
Yeah.
fun stuff. So,
Love-uary movies. We don't want any of those to go by the
yes.
wayside.
Or family history, mystery,
Blistery.
mustery 2.
Yes.
So no. All right. All right, Sydney, as always, very fun time. Go relax. You remember you're watching Hallmark for 2 now. So when you watch that Mystery Island tomorrow night, I want you to enjoy it with your float with root beer.
I am going to. And you enjoy one with Guinness for me.
I have Guinness in the fridge.
There
I
you go.
finally mastered how to make the black and tan
Okay, we'll have one
with
of
the
those.
good split. So now I'll make yours. I'll make yours. I'll give it a go. Okay. Good night, Sydney.
Good night.